And I gotta give it to him, man. The CEO's on the floor exploring alternative viable solutions. I'm just not sure if it's a solution that I could really, mess with. What's good, everybody? Welcome to Chat with Jat. It is episode 13, 19th of September 2022. It is 10:35 p.m. I am going to do a quick, fun, light video about the week and some crazy things I've been reading online about the business world, about our premier Justin Trudeau, and about the COO of Beyond Meat, who has really went beyond meat, in my opinion. So the first thing I want to do is just get rid of some homework. Mr. Chen, I did see your comment on my 11th video, which was about the Bank of Canada increase for the Americans. This is similar to Jerome Powell raising the rates. The Bank of Canada has been raising rates as well. So what I did in that video was I really talked about how the mortgage market, or how my mortgage was impacted, and how I was considering, should I pivot to fixed or should I stay with variable? And I think the same type of thinking would apply to anyone who has a variable mortgage. Those who are writing fixed don't really care. So the thing that Ben brought out was, Jat, if you're evaluating a decision, you need to forget what happened in the past. Forget what happened in your last 2 years of your mortgage, but think about your decision today and the remaining period. So if I say, am I going to write out variable for 3 years, or am I going to get a fixed for 3 years? That's the average rates. That's the scenario I should consider. I shouldn't be looking at the past. And I totally agree. When I was doing my 5-year rate evaluation, it was kind of earlier on in my mortgage term. So I was always looking at it like, oh, if things play out this way, my average rate for the 5 years would be X. But at the end of the day, if I have an option to go fixed rate 1% or a variable rate 5%, I'm going to look at what it is going to be for the next 3 years. That's what I'm going to look at. So I totally agree with what you're saying. And with that being said, I'm going to showcase what I did in my scenario. My scenario is kind of ridiculous, and I hope it remains ridiculous and it never materializes, because if it does, there's going to be so much pain and a lot of people are not going to be happy. So let me show quickly what my remaining 3-year mortgage scenario is going to be, what my ultimate decision is going to be, and then we'll get on to the fun stuff. So let's go make this small, put this up there. And let me zoom up here. So worst case scenario as of 19th of September, this is Bank of Canada's rates. These are the rates that they're setting as a policy rate for the overnight lending target rate that they have between the banks. This is my mortgage rates and what I'm running at. And everything that's grayed out, it's a fait accompli. It already happened. These are facts. Whatever's in white is what's to come. And these are based on my projections. Keep in mind, these dates or these increases are all largely based on the fact that Bank of Canada only meets 8 times a year. And I've assumed, for simplicity purposes, that they're always meeting at the beginning of the month. But in reality, that's not always the case. So the biggest takeaway I want everyone to notice here is that I said that there's going to be another increase in October, 0.5%. Another Christmas gift in December, 0.25%. So total of 0.75 in Q4. 0.5% again in January 2023. They are not letting go of the accelerator. And then even a bigger rate in April, a big punch in the gut, 1.5% in April, which would be the biggest hike that they've done. And then nothing in Q3. In Q4, they do another in Q4, they say, okay, time to press the brakes and let go of the gas. We're going to decrease a little bit, 0.5%, then 0.75, nothing for 1 quarter. And then in Q2, 0.75 decrease, then nothing in the next quarter, then 0.5, so on and so forth. And in this scenario, the peak rate that the Bank of Canada has would be 6%. my mortgage rate would be at 7.45%. In this type of scenario, when I look at just the average rate, like this, these are the periods that remain in front of me. If I roll with variable, I'm going to be at 6%. If I lock down a variable right now, if I lock down a fixed, sorry, I would get 5.1%. And those are the rates that the banks are offering, you know, various lending institutions. Big six banks, 5.14, 5.14, 5.29. So let's say I can get 5.1% if I sign a 3-year fix. So the big question is, why wouldn't I sign a 3-year fix as opposed to writing 6%? My assumption here is that the Bank of Canada is going to go crazy. And I hope they don't. I really hope they don't. I'm still optimistic. I live in a world with rosy glasses or rosy lens. I see the world in a bit of a less dark way, so I'm not too stressed. A lot of people would say you need to do risk management and get fixed. But me, I'm like, let's write it. Let's see what happens. Because the truth is, if they don't increase it by 1.5 and it's just 0.5, then the average rate goes to 5.17. You know, and that's assuming they do a 0.75 in the next 3 months. They do a 0.5 in the 3 months after that, and they do a 0.5 again. So it is still fairly aggressive, but you know, if that happens, the rate would be 5.17. You know, that's the same as fixed. And I rather ride with that than be committed to a fixed mortgage. And if I have to refinance because I see an amazing deal in the real estate market, or if I run into problems and I need to sell, or if I need to, you know, evaluate my options, a variable will give me that flexibility, whereas a fixed really doesn't. A fixed will result in big penalties, and that's not something I want to go through. So that is something that we all need to think about, and we need to evaluate. Like, my scenario here might be just, you know, I might be too rosy right now. It might be actually 1.5%. And there may never be decreases for the next 3 years. In that case, like, my average would be literally 7.45 as opposed to a fixed rate of 5.1, and it's a no-brainer. I should get the 5.1 for the next 3 years and bite my teeth. But the truth is, I don't think we're going to get here. I'm hoping we're not. And the way the banks are pricing their 3-year fixed, they don't think it's going to happen so much either. So that's what I have to say about the fixed versus variable scenario for myself. You know, if all of these increases are just 0.25, then the rates are much lower, and we'll see. You know, this is something I do for fun. I'm not sure where it's going to fall. I don't have a crystal ball. Neither do any economists. The last thing we heard was Bank of Canada's rates. You know, inflation is not cooling fast enough, and their target rate is 2 to 3% inflation, and they will do what it takes to get there. That's all we know. How fast we'll get there, no one knows. All right, so now to the fun stuff. So if you don't know, there's been a huge scandal in Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau was in England for Queen Elizabeth's funeral, the ceremonies, and they caught him, you know, singing and having a good time on Saturday. And a lot of people were not too happy about that. People were like, oh, you know, that's so inappropriate. He's a disgrace. He should exercise some judgment. And let me show you the video, and then we'll see if it's really as bad as people say it is, or, you know, it's not that big of a deal. All right, I'm going to hit the play button right now. All right, so there you have it. You see, our the prime minister used to be a drama teacher, and now he's singing, easy come, easy go, and I'm sure his haters are raging. The new leader of the Conservative Party was, pushing Bitcoin for the longest time to like attract young investors, and all those gains were easy come, easy go. Uh, you know, People who didn't vote when they had the chance to vote, your opportunity was also easy come, easy go, because now Trudeau is in power till 2025 minimum. So I feel like he's just trolling everybody. Easy come, easy go, baby girl. You fucked up. You didn't vote when you had a chance. Easy come, easy go. And I look at this, and I'm not mad. A lot of people are mad, but I'm not. Who is to say how one is supposed to react or grieve? Everyone has different ways. We're not acting like people are acting like this was at the moment where they were about to close the casket for the queen, and all the families crying, and then suddenly you hear Trudeau yell, easy come, easy go. Like, that's not what happened. This is him at his hotel with the Canadian delegation, and people are like playing music. They're just celebrating the life of the queen. And even in my culture, if you go to South India or whatever it is, a lot of people express themselves through dance and music. And, if you see like a funeral procession passing, and I don't know if that's the right word, but a funeral passing, a lot of people dance in front of it, and it's so raw. And people really express themselves in different ways, and you can't judge. And for people who want to hate, they could hate, but Trudeau's still doing his thing, and even if he's done the committed blackface, covering his face, arms, fingers, toenails, whatever it might be, he's still the PM, and he's locked good deals with supporting parties till 2025. So we're still kicking it in 2022, and you're gonna see another 2 years of him singing or doing whatever it might be. And I'm not mad. So what I wanted to talk about were some other hot topics. What happened was people are starting to say like, okay, well, where are we heading with the mortgage rates? And the truth is, a lot of people are pricing that the next rates are going to be lower. It's not going to be that bad, but nobody knows. Nobody knows where it's going to go. And a lot of people are calling for a recession. Like, a recession is inevitable, is what some people are saying. I was recently reading an article that I have in front of me from the Toronto Star. I'm not going to share it because obviously Toronto Star is a subscription-based paper, and I don't know if I'm going to get into some kind of trouble for sharing it without their permission. So what they're saying in this article is that there's going to be like a crash landing. It's not going to be like easy breezy, because Bank of Canada is trying to do that fine dance, raise the rates, cause the economy to slow down, which causes prices to go down, and then they just slowly follow it. And it's like a soft landing, just like how a plane lands. A plane doesn't dive and just crash into the floor. A plane, goes easy and lands smooth. So that's what they're aiming for. But a lot of people, maybe sensational articles, sensational headlines, but they're just saying shit is going to hit the fan. I have no idea. I looked at my last mortgage payment. I was literally at the brink of the trigger rate, like $15 away. So the next rate increase guaranteed, I'm gonna have my payments go up. So let's see what happens. Drinking green tea. It's good for the digestive system. So now What are people saying? RBC says that the economic soft landing is increasingly unlikely. That's what RBC is saying. And they say policymakers are pledging to do what it takes to rein in inflation. We think a soft landing is becoming a distant prospect. That's what they're saying. And, some banks have been bold, like Bank of England. I'm just literally paraphrasing. Bank of England has said that a recession is most likely the outcome that's going to happen. So, people don't know where things are going to fall. They say there's simply no historical evidence ever of Bank of Canada doing a soft landing and avoiding a recession. Each time the Bank of Canada has attempted to do one, it appears it's always resulted in a crash landing. So TBD, let's see what happens. I'm not too stressed. So those who don't know, we do have a new conservative leader. His name is Pierre Poilievre. He's, quite outspoken. Some people are praising his name. Everyone thinks he's going to be the one to bring it to Justin Trudeau, knock him off, and be able to become the next Prime Minister of Canada. But as far as we know, I think the novelty that he has is just going to wane off. It's going to die because Trudeau is holding power until 2025. That's technically when the next election is going to be, unless the NDP party just says, "I'll go fuck yourselves," and they stop working in coalition with the Liberals. So I'm not sure what Pierre Poilievre is going to do, if he's going to be the next leader or not. I think Pierre is exciting. I think Pierre brings a lot of energy. He's very, non-traditional. And he is, appealing to a younger crowd, appealing to a diverse crowd. He's not really just catering to the conservatives, but he's also appealing to the progressive conservatives and maybe trying to poach some voters from the center, So I'm excited to see what he's going to bring to the table, but at the same time, I'm able to read through all the bullshit. He has a lot of headlines, a lot of great words, great buzzwords that don't mean shit. And just like Trudeau, they're both all, spitting all kinds of shit. But let's see what happens. I'm actually gonna, I'm not loyal to nobody, so I'm not gonna be voting Liberal forever, or voting NDP forever, or voting Conservative forever. I vote whoever appeals to me. No one's gonna get my lifelong loyalty. The same should be said to Americans. You shouldn't ever be a lifelong Republican or a lifelong Democrat. You should always be flexible. You should always know what the party has to offer for you. That makes sense for you. And then maybe to some larger extent, the country and how you feel about the country's direction. So for me personally, all I want is to pay less taxes. I'm tired of paying so much taxes. I'm paying taxes on my income, paying taxes on things I buy, paying taxes when I buy something nice to treat myself. I'm paying taxes on flights. I'm paying taxes on everything. And it is fuel, everything. It's annoying. And I hate it. And people used to say, yeah, it's chill. You got free healthcare. But our healthcare system is absolutely falling apart. COVID has shown how weak it is. Doctors are overworked. Nurses are overworked. There is so many things wrong with our healthcare system. There's so many inefficiencies. If you don't control your destiny when you're in the Canadian healthcare system, I would say more likely than not, there is a high chance that you fall between the cracks or things get left behind. And I'm saying this from my own damn experience. I remember when I had a knee injury from playing soccer and I was sending, there was no way to book an appointment. They just said fax it to us. And I faxed it and I never heard anything from the hospital. And I kept calling. They never picked up. It always went to voicemail. And then one day I went into the hospital, went to that department, called, and I saw the secretary just ignored my call. She just let it go straight to voicemail, and she was just chatting with somebody. And then I said, hey, listen, I had to take time off work. I came all the way here. I sent you a fax more than a month ago, and I've been calling every other day trying to get a hold of you, and you haven't been picking up. And I just called you right now, and I see you just chatting with people. Where is my appointment? When is my appointment? Because my knee is killing. And that's when I think she felt like, oh shit, this guy might escalate and make this an issue, that she suddenly was able to get me an appointment like within the next week. And I hated that. I hated that experience. I hated the fact that I had to walk from my downtown office 3 kilometers up a damn hill to a hospital to be able to get an appointment. Like, that's how inefficient the system is. The system is designed in a way to like delay, so it could just deal with current urgencies where people are literally dying. So it's not healthy. It's not gonna work. And when people are overworked, that's when shit hits the fan. Things fall between the cracks. And you know, we're all vulnerable as Canadians, and I think that's happening everywhere across Canada. So I really hope that our tax money can be better spent in hiring more doctors, subsidizing these doctors so they can go through school, not worry about working or anything. And then if they leave, they got to pay back their loan. You know, I think doctors need support, and there needs to be more doctors on the field to alleviate the burden. But I also think, you know, we can offer nurses more roles, more responsibilities too, so that they can alleviate the burden up for doctors. And even for pharmacists, you know, I know some provinces are heading in that direction, but not everybody. So we really need to figure that out. Oh, let's not forget, best for last, COO of Beyond Meat has finally went Beyond Meat and started biting humans. So the latest news is Mr. Doug Ramsey, the CEO of Beyond Meat, was arrested for allegedly biting somebody's nose at a college football game. I don't know if he was drunk, what the story was, but I do believe sincerely that he supports the company mission statement and he cares about animals. And he decided to go beyond animal meat, take it to the next level. We knew this was inevitable with climate change coming around the corner. I'm sure livestock would have been eliminated. There would be nothing left to eat. And this guy is just trying to experiment with the next best thing, you know, and see if there's something that he can work with for his company. So it's pretty hilarious. But if you see his mugshot, I mean, man, this guy looks cheesed. Hold on, let me see. All right, so there he is. Douglas Ramsey. He was charged with terroristic threatening and third-degree battery. What the? The altercation happened in a parking garage near Razorback Stadium. What kind of name is that? Razorback. That reminds me of like Justin Timberlake's song Sexy Back. I'm bringing sexy back. Guess I'm dating myself right now, but still. And he punched through the back windshield of a Subaru. What? Yo, it sounds like he turned up. It sounds like he went like zombie mode. Back windshield of a Subaru after it made contact with the front tire of Ramsey's car. The owner got out of his car and Ramsey allegedly started punching him and bit his nose, ripping the flesh on the tip of his nose. The victim and witness also alleged that Ramsey told the Subaru owner he would kill him. All right, well, he's been operating chief of Beyond Meat since December. The food company has been facing skepticism, and the stock has fallen 73%, dragging its market cap down to $1 billion. When just a year ago, 3 years ago, the company was 13. All right, so there you have it, folks. That's what's going on with Beyond Meat. They have our and always will be committed to reducing animal meat consumption. And I gotta give it to him, man. The CEO's on the floor exploring alternative viable solutions. I'm just not sure if it's a solution that I could really, mess with. And that's it for me, everyone. See you on the next episode. Peace.